Hello, good morning. Welcome to Rob and Suzi's allotment adventure part 30. It's Saturday the 9th of May. Sorry it's been quite a while since I've posted a video. Life gets busy, as everybody knows, but the plot's looking really good. Ready for various seedlings to go out. We had a frost here down to -1 on Wednesday, I think it was, so luckily I hadn't put anything out by then. Some of my neighbours, he's got all his cabbages and things out, and they look to have survived just one night of frost, so he's got lucky there. It's always a bit of a risk in the UK. We have frosts all the way through to probably the end of May, but I think this is going to be the last one. I think we're forecast down to about 3 or 4 tomorrow night / Monday morning. So I've got a couple of sunflowers that I was donated. They might have to go out because they're looking a bit sorry for themselves. I think they need putting in the ground. So we'll give you a quick walk down the plot. As always, we'll start with the wildlife pond, which I thought we hadn't done very well with. We got some frog spawn early March, just one clump this time, and it promptly sank to the bottom, and I thought I'd lost it all. It wasn't particularly cold, but it just disappeared. And then lo and behold, all the little tadpoles have emerged, so it's not a disaster after all. But there's obviously lots of other stuff in there, pond skaters and all sorts of nymphs and things, and it's good to see the pigeons come and have a drink. That's what it's there for, not just for raising tadpoles. We've got the dwarf pear tree here, which I didn't prune this year. I've given it its head for a year, see what it wants to do. But there's absolutely dozens of little pears coming. Hopefully we'll have as good a year as last year. Off a little tree like that we had a dozen or so pears. That's a little digging dog there. That's a little homage to my mother, who sadly passed away last September, and while she was clearing all the stuff out, she was one that loved buying silly little knick-knacky things, and that was still brand new in the box, so I thought it could come up here and wag its little tail in the wildlife area. Little buddleias coming up nicely. And the little blue, I think they're forget-me-nots. Some used deck in there that I've started to edge. In fact, we'll go across and show you. We've finally edged up the side of the plot. That's my neighbour David. He's got all his cauliflower and broccoli and things in there in a cage, and he's done a good job of tidying up the plot next to me, because it was fallow for a couple of years. So he's like guilted me into tarting mine up a bit. So we've done a nice little edging down the path, which just makes it nicer. It's a bit of a pain when you rotivate it though, because the soil seems to come over the top, but I think I'm gonna make a little thing with a couple of boards that I can drop on to like extend it up, so when I'm rotivating the soil doesn't pop over the side and go on the paths. So that bed's all worked down, ready to go. That's my repurposed gazebo frame, which is where my broccoli, probably my sprouts. I don't like sprouts very much, but my better half Suzi has guilted me into sowing some Brussels sprouts this year. That's the frame for what will be the cauliflowers or broccoli, whatever we put at the side of it. There's another, it only takes up half the bed, this cage, so that'll be the broccoli area. Now the overwintered leeks have gone really well, but now it's starting to get warm. It's starting, this bit here, look, that's starting to go to seed. Break those off. Ooh. Because if you leave those on, they go all woody and not very nice. But we've had some good ones off. These are the remnants. They're not quite as thick. We had a bit of a dry start to the spring, and I should have watered them more. But I've been told by my sister-in-law, Julia, that they're leaky leeks. She's really impressed with how leaky they are. I think I don't know what's happened to this one. Whether it's got a bit. You see that? It's all spirally. That's a bit weird. Looks like it's been in one of the ladies' hair crimping tools. Anyway, over here we have the new potatoes, or early potatoes. They are Francis apparently, so my little tag says. So I wasn't going to heap them up, but because of the frost I tried to cover over the leaves to try and protect them, and it seems to have done a good job. In the bed next to them is my second earlies, which I only put in last week. They're not showing yet. Fallow bed there with some steel cloches to go over the top to protect them from the birds. Now this frame has come from the next door plot, which is over here, which unfortunately my mate, who I recommended to come up here a couple of years ago, Tom, he's got a young family and the kids have decided it's boring, so he's now given up the plot. So he said that I could have the frame, so I think that's going to have either sweet peas or climbing beans. I'm going to put some wires up it and probably grow beans, say, or sweet peas. Even though sweet peas, if anybody's not up with the lingo, they are peas, but they don't actually produce peas, they produce flowers. So strange. Right, my onions. We've got onions in here. A single one there, that's just a normal onion, which is Storon, I'm not sure how you say it. And then we've got a row of the multi ones. They are, oh, wrong tag, that's last year's. That's not very good, is it? We've got shallots there, Red Sun shallots that have gone up there, which are the smaller, sweeter variety of onions that you break apart really. And then we've got some Hercules, normal onions, and then I think we've got some red ones. What are these ones? Carmen. They're reds, and then we've just alternated as we go down, whites, reds, whites, reds, whites, reds, hopefully. And in between we've got some Chantenay carrots that have gone in last weekend. They're not emerging yet. And then in between, though, alternate, we've gone for parsnips. I've never grown parsnips before. They're Javelin F1. Never grown parsnips before. Obviously closely related to carrots, they can't be that different. But hopefully the smell of the onions keeps the carrot fly away, and the smell of the carrots keeps the onion fly away, which has seemed to work, because this is the start of my 4th year, and I've been doing it this way for 3 years in the same bed, which you're not really supposed to do, but it gives good results. It's the lightest bed. Morning, our neighbours there. Hello. Gabby and Claire's. It seems to work. This is my lightest bed. All of the compost that gets taken out of the greenhouse from growing my tomatoes and things, that seems to get worked into the soil, and it's the lightest bed by a long way, and it seems to do well for onions and carrots that like lighter soil. We've come past the rhubarb, which had a bit of a a flowering spurt at the start of the year, but it seems to have calmed down, but there's still flowers which need to come off. That's what a flower looks like on a rhubarb. It's quite pretty, but I don't really want those seeds on the floor, and it also detracts from the flavour of the stalks. It puts its energy into flowering, which is not what you want. You want energy into the leaves. Rhubarb in there. This is a bit of an area that gets overlooked I should say. Still haven't done my fruit cage, 3 years in. Hey ho. And strawberries are looking really good. Now this half of the bed, it is 2 years ago strawberries. I changed them over. I'm supposed to change them every 3rd or 4th year, but this should be their best year if it's their 2nd year. And then these are new plants this year. They got off to a bit of a duff start because it was really dry and I didn't water them enough, but they are now catching up, apart from one seems to be very ropey there. But the name of the game is to get the runners at the end of the year, put them into little pots and then use them in your own plot, which I didn't do, so I had to go and buy them. But nice lady sold them at about £1 each, and they're about £2.50, £3 in the garden centres, even more if you go to places like B&Q or... So that's bed waiting for spring onions and spinach. That's going to be a carrot bed. There's some left in from last year which I really need to get used. They're my sunflowers that I spoke about earlier. They need to go out because they're looking a bit, I don't know, not looking very brilliant, but I hope. This is one of the projects where I'm a little bit behind. I've been barrowing sand up here ready for this area. Here is going to be a patio area which is going to have either another raised bed or hopefully these 2 container raised beds, whatever you want to call them, hopefully in an L shape over here, down there. I don't know, one over there to form an L shape to make it a natural barrier, and then an seating area where the rotavator is, a little seating area there with a little banana umbrella to keep Suzi and Ella the dog cool, because it gets blooming boiling up here. And the sun comes round, as you can see, probably it'll get glary. That's where the sun is at. It's about 9:30 at the moment. The sun goes round there and it cooks you and then sets over there. It's a very south facing allotment and we don't get any shade throughout the day from these trees. It just gets boiling. So I've sourced an umbrella to keep everybody cool. Right, into the greenhouse, which is a tale of 2 areas really. Some bought tomatoes, some of those are piccolos, which Suzi told me she really wanted, so I had to drive 20 miles to go and buy some piccolo plants. Piccolo tomatoes, which are like a cherry tomato but in a plum tomato shape. She says they're fantastic, so I'll take her word for it. I'm not really a raw tomato fan. Now up here there are a plethora of sunflowers, and we've got one coming at the moment, and there's another one looks like it's breaking through there. My other half, Suzi, she's half Ukrainian because her dad came from Ukraine. Not recently, not one of the refugees from the latest conflict, but we're talking back in the Second World War. He came over when he was a teenager, and their national flower is the sunflower, and sadly he passed away about, what was it now, about 6 weeks ago, bless him. He got to the ripe old age of 96. He's a fantastic guy, was Franz. so I thought I'd put a load of sunflowers in to remember him by. That's if they ever come up. The courgettes are in there, they're not coming out yet. I've got some Turk's turbans and butternut squashes in there, they're not coming up yet. But down here we have cosmos, which are flowers. We've got sweet peas in there, which hopefully are doing all right. And then we come to the good stuff, which is cauliflowers. Come up well. I think purple sprouting cauliflower, sorry, purple sprouting broccoli next to them. I think they're normal broccoli, and then yeah, they're the sprouts that I've been guilted into doing. Then we've got sweet corn. That's my eldest daughter Beth. She loves sweet corn. The only reason she comes to visit in the summer is to get fresh sweet corn cobs. Bless her, she doesn't really. And then we've got early leeks there and late leeks, which look like grass, but I can assure you they are leeks. That's about it really. So that's a little walk up here in the May spring sunshine. Hopefully got one bed, the one bed that was under the covers there near the patio area, that's gonna get rotivated in a minute, and then I'm all prepped ready for this year. The tomatoes are probably going to go into their tubs down either side where I've just shown you the seedlings. That bench will come out if I can get Gary to give me a lift out with it in a couple of weeks, and then there'll be tomatoes down each side and cucumbers in the middle. Yeah, 2 cucumbers which are at home because they're very susceptible to frost, so they're in the kitchen on the windowsill, nice and safe, because I've bought those because I can't remember the variety now, but they were really good last year, so I bought 2 of the same. So if something works, keep using it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say. Right, I've waffled on for long enough. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, it's totally free, share with your friends, and hopefully next time there'll